DC fans rejoice. It sounds like the Justice League movie and a certain other movie is on the way, and your movie dreams are about to come true. So the news coming out today from Warner Brothers is the fact that Batman will be featured in the new Man of Steel sequel, essentially creating the world's greatest movie, which to me, as someone who loved Man of Steel, loved the Batman movies with the Nolan trilogy, makes me incredibly excited. And I imagine for a lot of DC fans, they're just completely going nuts. I imagine you were all excited as well. But today, I'm also going to speculate on not just that movie announcement, but also the little rumors and questions that might arise from these announcements, not only from the Batman and Superman movie, but also from the potential Flash movie that's been rumored, the Justice League now being rumored to come out in 2017, as well as the Batman Beyond movie that is rumored to be back on the table for Warner Brothers. Let me go ahead and get the confirmed stuff out of the way for the Man of Steel sequel. Zack Snyder is coming back as the director, David Escourt is coming back to the screenplay, and most importantly, Cavill is coming back as Superman. I personally loved him as Superman. I know a lot of people have problems with him. That's fine. I personally just really enjoyed Man of Steel. Had a lot of fun with it. Got me into Superman, got me interested in the character. But now I have a lot of questions. Just so you know, I have all this written down, questions, everything, so if you keep looking back and forth, that's why. Of course, first question I have is that who is going to play the new Batman? Who is going to take up the mantle? Because I've heard that Christian Bale says he's done and out and not playing Batman in Justice League, so I imagine he's not going to play this incarnation of Batman. So my question for you guys is, who do you guys think could be the new Batman? Who do you think could play him in this Man of Steel sequel? And that also leads me to another question I have. Do you think that it'd be a good idea for Batman to have his own solo movie again before the Man of Steel sequel? Do you think it'd be a good idea to just go ahead and reestablish the character for the sake of the Justice League, just so that way there's no lack of character development and the fact that we're all on the same page now with each character? Because let's face it, Christian Bale has been Batman the last 3 times and have his own story arc and own continuity. And it would just seem a little bit abrasive if all of a sudden Superman comes in and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, look, new Batman, let's all go be superheroes together. That just seems a little bit a little too fast. You need to establish Batman again. You need to establish it for the continuity of this universe. And that's, in just my opinion, would just seem like the best, or at least the most fulfilling option. It's just to have Batman have his own movie and then have Superman and Batman together. Then ultimately lead into the Justice League movie. So, regarding the Justice League, let me go into another rumor movie news, and that is the Flash having his own movie. Now, I will admit right off the bat that I don't know a whole lot about the Flash. I don't know much about his villains. I've done a little bit of research over the past couple of days after hearing this rumor. And so, I'm just going to ask you guys, if you are Flash fans, or if you are just aficionados in the DC universe, who do you think could play the Flash the best? And what version of the Flash? Because I heard there's 5 different Flashes. Do you think Wally West could be the Flash in the Justice League, or do you think it should be someone else? Just comment below and tell me what you think, and why should this one particular actor be the Flash? And not only that, but who could be the villain for a Flash movie if this goes through? I did a little bit of research, and it turns out to me the one that sounds the most potentially interesting is Magenta. The reason why, from Wally West continuity, is that she was once a former lover of the Flash, and she has the powers of magnetism, which could be a lot of fun, sort of like Magneto is in the X-Men, and each of their own powers coming to their own, and just seeing that together, it just seems to me like potentially the most interesting for a dynamic conflict, and just a more sympathetic Flash might come across. And yes, Magenta does not need to be a great villain, but it needs to be good enough to service the plot of a Flash movie, which will eventually lead into Justice League. Let's go ahead and move into the ultimate coup de grace, the Justice League. Now, the Justice League is probably the epitome of every DC fanboy's cinematic dream, aside from their own favorite superhero incarnation solo movie. Now, the Justice League is arguably probably the hardest cinematic adaptation of a comic book ever, aside from the Avengers. I mean, the Avengers already was a massive success. Everybody loves it. So the Justice League has its own issues regarding it. Number one, and this is probably the most speculative question of all, who or what actors and actresses play the Justice League characters? Who plays Batman? Who plays Martian Manhunter? Who plays Green Lantern? Who plays Hawkgirl? Who plays Flash? All these people in the Justice League, which another question arises from that is, what version of the Justice League? Do they take the Justice League cartoon and animate it to that? to the big screen, or is there another version of the Justice League they can go off of in terms of adapting to a movie? Who ultimately comes into the Justice League and who is adapted to the big screen? Another question is that should every member, like the Marvel movies, for the Avengers, have Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, and Hulk got their own movies before Avengers and had Nick Fury and Black Widow and all that stuff connecting into that, should every member of the Justice League have their own movie in order to set them up for the Justice League movie? Or, if that is not the case, if you don't think they should, who should have their own movies and why? And why certain other characters do not need to have a cinematic adaptation in order to lead into the Justice League? Who do you think, or who would you want to see the most in terms of a movie adaptation lead into the Justice League? I personally want to see them reboot the Green Lantern because, let's face it, Ryan Reynolds, he may have sounded good at the time for Green Lantern, but looking back now, it just... No. I would personally want to see the Jon Stewart Green Lantern, and I honestly want to see Idris Elba play him. However, since he's already playing Heimdall in the Marvel Universe, it just seems a little bit... I don't know. It might be a little bit hard to put him in the Justice League movie, but again, that's just my personal opinion. I think he'd be great as Green Lantern. I think he'd be a lot of fun, very charismatic. Another character who I'd love to see is Martian Manhunter. Now, I have no clue who on Earth could play Martian Manhunter, play John Jones. Just that character alone probably has the most interesting character arc out of all the Justice League members by themselves. And just seeing how he lost his entire family, he lost all of his race, watched them die before his eyes, and has basically lost everything he loves. But that, again, might be really hard because of the actor they need to play him. And so, who do you guys think could play Martian Manhunter, or should Martian Manhunter have his own movie? Another thing that raises a question is, who should be the villain in the Justice League movie? Because we were hinted that Loki was the villain in Avengers 1, and Thanos is hinted at to be the villain in Avengers 2. So who should be the villain in the Justice League movie? Should it be someone like, I don't know, Brainiac? Should it be someone, I don't know, just somebody from the DC universe overall for the Justice League movie as the main villain? Who do you think would be a great villain overall for that movie? And just comment and say why that should be the case. And should they be introduced in the movies, in whose movie should it establish? And the final news story I have to comment on is Batman Beyond. I will admit I did not grow up with a lot of superhero stuff as a kid, but one of the series I remember the most fondly is Batman Beyond. I remember that being a lot of fun as a kid. I loved the Batsuit. I loved the villains and had a lot of interest in it. It just kept me interested overall in seeing it again. Now that the Batman Beyond movie is rumored to be back on the table with Warner Brothers, is that who should play Terry McGinnis as Batman, and why is that? Who do you think would be a good actor for that role? As well as, who do you think could play older Bruce Wayne, and why? Now, in my personal take, this would probably be most fun to watch, is that I would think Nicholas Hoult would probably be a good Terry McGinnis. He kind of looks like the guy. He seems to right the build and about the right age. But Bruce Wayne would probably be the most fun if, and I know this sounds like it never happened in a million years, but again, it would be funny, is if Clint Eastwood was older Bruce Wayne, and just having the voice in general would be just the coolest thing ever. But I honestly don't know who could play older Bruce Wayne. I mean, you could, as a nod to the Tim Burton films, maybe you could have Michael Keaton come back. That would be kind of fun. But again, this is just rumors, just speculation, and what you could potentially see happen. Another thing that raises a question for Batman Beyond is, who's going to be the villain for that movie as well? Now, after doing some research and looking back at the Batman Beyond series, I think probably the most interesting of the villains will probably be Blight, or Derek Powers, I think is the name. Yeah, Derek Powers. If Derek Powers or Blight is brought into the Batman Beyond movie, I think that would make the most fun, or at least the most interesting, because of the fact that Powers doesn't only have a connection to Bruce Wayne because he is one of the co-owners of Wayne Enterprises, so he has a connection there, but he also was responsible for having Terry McGinnis' father killed. So that would give Terry a reason to become Batman, have a grudge against Wayne Enterprises, or against Powers specifically, have a conflict against Bruce Wayne, and having him a reason to don the mask of Batman and becoming a superhero in his own right. I think that would probably lend itself to be the most interesting. Final question I have is that, should Batman Beyond connect to the Justice League movie in some way, shape, or form? Personally, I don't know if it should or not. I just, again, speculating and seeing. I would love it if there was some nod to Batman Beyond in the Justice League movie, or if there was, like, hinting at Batman Beyond during the Justice League. I don't know. This is just, again, speculation. But tell me, do you guys think that Batman Beyond should be connected, or the Justice League should connect to Batman Beyond in some way, shape, or form? Who's the villain? Who could play the actors for that? And just all that good stuff for all these movies, all this news story. But again, comment below, tell me what you think, go crazy, throw out every single bit of comic book knowledge you know, and if you recommend some of the stuff to me and tell me like why you think a certain thing, let me know. I'd love to hear it. Until next time, everybody, I'm Perry the One-Armed Legend. You name it, I can play it.